Jai Janindra, everyone. Welcoming you all to this very new lecture series, Delusion. Today, again, we have invited Swanubhuti Didi. She is here with us. You all must be familiar with her through her earlier lectures in Jeev portal as well, and her work towards Jainism in general. So, welcoming Didi. And when we talk about delusion, I think the most root cause of our being in the mundane, I mean, everybody is struggling to find, to attain the happiness. When we talk about the Atindriya Sukh, I think the root cause we could not attain is only the delusion. And we have heard about Mithyatva a lot in several scriptures, lectures. Today we have our expert Swanubhuti Didi here with us, who will be summarizing this topic amongst us. So before she start the lecture, I want to just share one more thing with all the audience who have joined the lecture and who are listening to us offline. First of all, Jeev portal portray you Jain values in English language. You can access to the portal. The credential I'll share at the end of the lecture. And on the lecture, on the portal, you can access to all the resources related to different lecture, different topic. Everything is organized and presented there. You can access to all the presentations and the course materials. If you feel any difficulty in accessing it, feel free to reach out to us on an email or over a phone call. So now over to you, Swanubhuti Didi, to start the lecture.
जय जिनेंद्र एवरीवन। मैं कौन हूँ, आया कहाँ से, और मेरा रूप क्या, संबंध दुखमय कौन है, स्वीकृत करूं परिहार क्या। The topic today that we will try to understand is delusion. What is called moha in Hindi or Sanskrit. While we understand this word, we think we do understand this word. The implications that this has, we really don't get that, because as they say that if we understand where we are wrong, then that is the first step of being right, isn't it? So, had we realized what was the delusion, probably we already would be, enlightened beings, as they call samyak drishti in the parlance of the philosophy. So, now two things that we will aim to understand today. First is, what is the meaning of this word delusion? Moha, as they call it, it's a terminological word. It's not as simple as, the simple English delusion. We have to understand the implications because it's a terminological word. Secondly, we have to get to the depth of what are these delusions. So this will be the primary subject that we try to understand. I am assuming you must have already seen the video which Jeev team has shared on that portal. And if you have not, I would strongly advise you to immediately after this go and watch that, because we are building on beyond that, what is already given. Now, as the word delusion means, it means I am fogged. It's an internal fog. When there is fog, you really can't make out exactly what's ahead there. Everything is hazy. In fog, still, you can't see a lot of things clearly. Moha or delusion is further like where you are intoxicated. It's not that you're not aware of things. Anybody, if you would have, always seen don't drink and drive, don't drink and drive. I mean, if somebody is a great driver, why is it that drinking and driving is not right? And why is it that would lead to accidents? I mean, the person, his eyesight is good, he can see, he can walk, he can talk, he can drive the car, he can, make sense of how to go about the road, he knows the direction, otherwise he wouldn't be driving. So still, there's something wrong with him, right? And what is that is wrong with him? Because while he's seeing, it's distorted. What he assumes and what the facts are not in sync. This is exactly what delusion means here. So we were to assume, I mean, just look at all of us. I mean, there's something which defines all the worldly beings. All of us who are still in this world, in the misery state, there's a very common factor which defines us all, and which is everybody thinks that he is right or she is right. Just think about it. It's a psychological fact. Everybody, I mean, people would say, oh, Mahatma Gandhi was a great man. Yeah, I mean, father of the nation. He pulled out the country from the miseries of the slavery and stuff like that. But he would say he was right as far as he wanted to, what do you say, protest non-violently. But this is a little too much, isn't it? That if somebody slaps on your one cheek and you offer the other one, isn't this a too much? No, I would go and ask you, who are you? The grandfather of the nation? To judge the father of the nation? Who are you? What have you achieved in life? What could you prove in life to be able to come in a position where you are saying that, okay, I am the guy who knows it better than him now, where he was right and where even he went wrong. So just look at the way we look at things, Everybody, whether it's a child or a grown-up, whether you have an IQ of, the worst, the lowest level or the highest level, whether you are an utter failure in life or you are, in the parlance of the world, very, very successful, either ways, whether you are, everybody here is yourself suffering through a lot of heartbreaks, but you are ready to give your advices on, how to avoid heartbreaks. So the biggest, delusion which we are all under is the know-it-all syndrome, isn't it? Everybody is under this syndrome. Know-it-all. I know it all. Ask me. Now, the first step to understand delusion is accept we are deluded. And I am going to prove it logically from various means and, instances and where we are going wrong. But the first thing, why? Because unless and until we do accept that I am deluded, I mean, this discussion doesn't make sense. If you're still judging me in terms of, oh, let's see what she's going to talk about it, whether what she's saying is right or wrong, which means you will not gain anything out of this. So the first thing that we have to begin with is that all of us are in misery because we are deluded. Now just think of another thing. Do you feel bound in life? And I'm proving why the delusion does exist. Do we feel bound in life? Or do you think you are a completely free spirit? You can do whatever, whenever, however you wish to. You think? No. So many bondages. I am forced most of my life into certain things which I may or I may not like. The kids feel bound by their parents. Parents feel bound by their jobs or businesses or money or circumstances. Old people feel bound by their body. I've always felt this. If anybody is like above 70, 75, 80, it appears to me like they are a bird trapped in a cage. Because the energy level, their consciousness, their desires, their aspirations, I mean, they would like to fly high, but their body, it does not have that strength anymore, or the stamina. And they are bound. As they say in Hindi, kaid mein hai bulbul. Why? Because bulbul is supposed to be a very, very vivacious, lively bird. So you feel so bound, you can't do what you want to do. I bet most of you, given an option, would like to just go in the sky and fly. But no, a lot of us would have dreamt of, running and hopping. And in reality, we realize, oh my God, 5 miles and I'm out and exhausted. So we are bound. We are bound by so many things. And we're still human beings here. I mean, talk about our own existence, which is as the consciousness or the soul. So, if I, change this body and move into a animal life form or any other unwanted life form, I mean, isn't that again another level of bondage whereby I'm forced and I don't want to do what I don't like to do, but I am still supposed to. I mean, I'm still made to, get into a situation which I utterly would get out of given any opportunity. So here, bondage. What is the cause of this bondage? That's the main point here. And the cause of this bondage is delusion. Now, this is a very, somebody might think that the bondage is outside there. And you're talking about a delusion which I may harbor inside. How are they connected? So I'll tell you a small story and we realize how it works. So long ago, in the olden times, there were these fleet of camels which used to, carry a lot of load on them and go from one city to another city. That was the export import in the olden times, whereby you buy things from one city, go to another city. So there were like fleets of hundreds of such, animals which used to carry all the load. And then you sell in the other B city, and then you buy from B city and again sell in the A city. So they used to take months at times in traveling. Obviously, the speed of a camel and the entire, entourage which is going along with it. So what they used to do is they had to camp for the night. They carried a lot of tents and ropes and logs, whereby they would every night just hammer the log in the on the floor, wherever, I mean, soily or whatever floor that was the ground. And they would just tie the rope alongside the log as well as the neck of the animal, which they were supposed to tie so that they don't run away in the night. Now, what happened one of the days? They were short of one rope. So this one camel, they didn't realize, but since one rope was short, they didn't know what to do, because then you just don't leave the camel, you had to leave the goods along which came along with it. So there was this confusion which the owner was trying to sort, and one wise man in the group said, okay, I'll solve it for you. So he said, how are you going to do it? He said, just watch me. So what he went ahead and did was, there was no log, but he acted as if he's holding a log. He tried to hammer the log in the floor, again acted in front of the camel. He had no rope, but he acted as if he's tying the rope on the log and he's tying the rope on the camel. There was nothing there, actually. It was all an act. And then he said, okay, now we can go and sleep peacefully. Don't you worry about it. So the owner said, I'm going to deduct this from your salary, okay? I mean, the camel is not blind. He said, don't you worry about it. You can take my salary, okay, for this. If he runs away, don't you worry about it. He said, okay, fine. Next day morning, they untied everybody else. They wanted to start off on the fresh day. And what they realize is, this camel won't budge. He won't move. He was stuck there. They tried to beat him, push him, pull him. Nothing worked. So again, this wise man was called upon, and he said, what did you really do? Did you cast a spell on him? He wouldn't budge. So the wise man asked him that, did you untie him? So this man, the owner, said, but he was never tied. He said, that's what you think. If he was never tied, he wouldn't be here. He would have run away so far. So if he is here, it means that he was tied up. Where? Not outside, not physically, not actually, but here inside. His perception, the way he looked at things, and the way he acted was in sync with being tied up, with being bound. Now, what he really did was, he again acted as if he's untying this one. He untied him totally. He removed the lock, and there it goes. I mean, a single pat, and he was up and running again. Now, this is actually the fact in most of our lives. Can you tell me, how are you bound with your kids? Is there a rope around your neck and the other end in the hands of your kids? Where are those ropes? How are you bound? Where are those shackles that feel you so obliged? And I know the best of the people, let me tell you, who wouldn't care a damn about anybody in the whole universe. And when it comes to their kids, they would love to know, what did you have for lunch? And did you finish your tiffin? What? How important it is. And whether they're getting their spellings right. Do you really care in the world about anybody getting their spellings right? But no. When it comes to the kids, you're concerned about every aspect of their lives. Everything that they do. Did you sleep? Did you sleep well? What did you wear? What did you do? Who are your friends? What are these? How are you bound? What are these shackles that have you so much obsessed with them? Where are these shackles? So, the camel was bound, not outside, but within himself. That was the delusion he was living under, that he is bound. Now, if the camel needs to be free, now I'm turning the story the other way around. Do you really think that the camel was capable of breaking those shackles which never existed? Look at the other side of the story. We were with the wise man and we were with the owner so far. Now get into the shoes of the camel. Let's do that once. So if, as a camel, I tell you, you are that camel, and you want to be free, what do you really do? Let's first think about that. If this camel wanted to run away, he wanted to be free of this burden that he had to carry every day, which, like, we are carrying our burdens every day. He just needed to believe. And for him to believe, he needed the knowledge that actually he is not bound. Knowledge alone was not enough. First, the knowledge that maybe what I think is the fact is not the fact. Maybe I think I am bound, but I am not bound. Maybe I think I cannot ever be free, but I can be free. This is the knowledge. Step number 1. Just hearing this and laughing it off won't help, isn't it? Oh, it sounds good. You sound so nice. It makes sense to me. I'm going to sleep now. Okay. Tomorrow I have a long day and a lot of burden to carry again. No, this does not work. Every day you want to listen to this. Why? Because it feels good to listen to. I am free, I'm free, I'm a free bird. Are you a free bird? Hearing, listening, knowing is not enough unless you believe in it. Your knowledge becomes right only when your belief becomes right. So there's this, hand in glove kind of a situation whereby they have to work in tandem together, the knowledge and the belief. And what if the guy who was telling me was wrong? Now I'm not talking about the one camel who was actually not bound. Now I'm moving to the other 99 camels. Are they bound? Now this is a very interesting part of the entire story. Why? Because how about the other 99 camels who are actually bound? Let's talk about them. Are they bound or not? Anybody on the chat box? You think they are bound? You can put a thumbs up. Somebody comes and tells those camels, hello, even you are not bound. And you will say, oh, I can see the log, I can see the rope. See, every night, this is what happens. We are bound. The fact of the story is, and you need somebody who is already enlightened to come and tell you this. So another camel, who was a free camel, came the other night. And he told all the camels, look, I was like you one day. And I thought that these ropes bind me. And then one camel like me, who was a free bird, came and told me that, look, while I appeared under the delusion, I thought that I was bound, but in fact, just, nug at that. Just try to pull this a little bit. Give it a try. And you will see you are free, because even those 99 camels were not actually bound. And how does this work? So let me tell you the truth. What had happened was, all these camels, they were bought when they were babies. And a log looking similar to the log which they are tied up every day, but which was made of iron. They were actually tied with very strong ropes with that iron log when they were babies. And they tried to pull and push and break away and tried their best. But they could never break free, ever. And they realized they could bleed, they could starve, but they will never get out of this. And then they were conditioned to believe that whenever we are tied like this, it's no use trying to break free, because we never would. We can bleed, we can die, but we'll never be free. Now, since they were, living under this delusion for ages now, they grew up to be very strong camels. They grew up to have great muscles, great power. They could carry the burdens which none of the human beings could carry. I mean, can you just imagine the kind of strength they had already now? But still, since they were so conditioned to believe that they were bound, even after they grew up, they always were under the impression that whenever we are tied to the ropes, it means we are bound and we should not even try. Now just look at the situation. That log, it was just hammered once. But every night, of course, they wouldn't go to, permanently fixing the logs for 100 camels. If they would just nudge a little bit, the log would just come off and they could go out. So the ropes were also actually nothing. Think about the rope. The knots were also nothing. It was just loosely put around. So the shackles that they felt they were in were not outside. They were in the conditioning of their mind. Now just look at this. Where are we from originally? All the worldly beings. Where do you belong? You say, no, I belong from Gujarat, Rajasthan. No, sorry, hello. We all belong to Nigodh. Now, if you have heard about what is Nigodh, that is that one sensed being which hardly has a life. In a single pulse, they can as far as, have 18 lifespans. I mean, those same Nigodhya Jeev, which are there in the potatoes and the onions. And not only there, everywhere actually. There's not even a single space in the entire 3 lok that we know in the entire universe where there are no Nigodhya Jeev. The lowest life form that you can ever know. So since then, which are our headquarters where we belong to, we have been so hard, you can say, conditioned. Conditioned by whom? There still you had somebody else who was conditioning it. Here it is our own self who's created a world in our imagination. And why did this happen now? That is what I wanted to come to actually. What are these delusions? How are we living them? Where are we going from? First of all, whatever I'm going to tell you are not out there. They are in here. This is the first disclaimer we have to live with and understand when we are understanding every aspect of delusion. Now, these imaginary bondages that we are talking about, how do they work? the imaginary intoxication, the fogs, the confusion, all this is moha, delusion. Which what does it clearly mean? Okay, I'm partially intoxicated, right? No, you're not partially intoxicated. You're totally intoxicated. What does it mean? There's not even a single thing that you can see right. Everything that we see is distorted. Every emotion that we have, every aspect that we judge, everything is based on total delusion, which means we have a lot of work to do, isn't it? Lot of work to do. Why? Because you have to change yourself profoundly. Every ounce of you, every inch of you, every aspect of you, every thought of you, every belief that you harbor needs to change. High time. Now, what are these beliefs and why did they happen so? So, see, what really happened was the moment we open our eyes, and I'm talking from this life form first, and then I'll move to our past. The moment by default, the Jeev is found with delusion, is found bound. Very much like a diamond is never found in the form that shows up on your ring. The faceted and the clean cut ones. It's always in the form of a coal originally, or the gold is always found with the muck. Originally, they are always like that by default, right? So I was also by default found in association with a body. By default. Does not mean that if the diamond was always in the coal, does not mean it always has to in the future, right? It can always be made clean, cut. Right? It can shine out bright. And once it does, it doesn't go back, mingles back with the coal or in the same dark form. So similarly, we are some unique beings, you can say, on this earth. And when I say earth, don't confine yourself to the earth you see on the globe. Earth means the entire, this world I'm talking about. So when we are here, by default, we are found with karma. By default, we are found with body. The soul is not found in the pure form, like a pure gold or a pure diamond. So when you have a body, you have consciousness, you have knowledge, you feel the pain or the pleasures. But everything that you will experience, that you are through the lens of the body, which is called Indriya Gyan and Indriya Sukh. Indriya Gyan, what is Indriya Gyan? Indriya Gyan is the knowledge which is routed through the five senses. So whatever perception that happens through the senses is called Indriya Gyan. And we would love to use the original words like Indriya Gyan, Indriya Sukha and Moha as we move along. So understand the meaning and then we move back to the original words, because that's what will, make us understand things in a better fashion ahead. So Indriya Gyan. Now what is Indriya Gyan as we understood? The knowledge or the perception which is routed through the senses. So who sees? The eyes or the consciousness or the soul behind it? See, whatever you think you are, you will try to free that. You will seek the freedom of that entity. So we always thought that I am the body. So you wanted the body to be free. If somebody binds you with shackles here, you will strive to be free. If somebody clouds your eyes like this, you'll want the cloud to go away. But if you start believing that you are not the body, you are the consciousness inside the body, then you will strive for the freedom of the consciousness. Because this body, which I feel I am, is actually the obstruction of my perception, my knowledge, my consciousness rather. So the animal in the zoo believes that the people who are feeding him are protecting him. Actually, they are the ones who have enslaved him. You with me on this? I mean, you feel that they are your guardians. They are the ones who are actually subduing you, suppressing you. And they are not suppressing you because they can. Because you are willingly getting suppressed. So, what is the body doing? The body is like a wall. The body is non-living. You know what? This body that we live in, it's a dead body, right? Once we leave this body, which means that the life of this body is me. And even when I am living in this body was already a dead body. My current body is also a dead body. Why? Because the body is dead, right? You want to experiment it, just go and cut your nails. Those nails, when they are still a part of your nails, it feels like they are alive. The moment you cut them off, you throw them away, right? They are nothing. The moment you cut your hair, so when they were on your head also, they were dead, right? They were non-living. So the way I am giving you examples of your hair or your nails, even a hand or finger, once it is cut off and your life comes out of it, it is still in the original form, right? What is the original form? It was always a dead body. The body doesn't have life. When I say dead, what I really mean is the body doesn't have life. So where is life? I am the life, isn't it? That life is the soul. And that soul, whether it is in the body or without the body, is always alive. Why? Because soul is life. So now this is the first delusion we are trying to break. What is the delusion? The delusion that I am the body. The delusion that I feel, that I know through my senses. Why? Because the one who was seeing were never the eyes. If the eyes could see, why does not the dead man's eyes see? Okay, if the eyes could see, why does it happen that my eyes are open? And still, most of the times I realize that if mentally I am elsewhere, I don't realize what happened in front of my eyes. Look at this, your ears are hearing what I am saying. Not necessarily. Because ears don't hear. This is the wrong language I just used. If ears can hear everything that falls in your ear, you would have understood and comprehended and listened to. And still, don't we say, a lot of times to our kids primarily, aren't you listening? And they say, of course. Otherwise, how would I react? But they're not listening. You say there's a difference between hearing and listening. I'm saying, yeah, that's the difference. But your ears do none. Neither do they hear, nor do they listen. So what is here? What are the ears? Ears are always deaf. Ears can't hear. So if there's consciousness, there's life within you. That's the consciousness which is responsible for the entire experience of hearing. Okay, tell me, do you feel the itch sometimes? Anywhere? Who feels the itch? If the itch was what the body feels, all dead bodies would be itching right now. Even in the graveyards. But no, there's that life who feels the itch. And there's that life who probably, just tell me, a warrior out there fighting. Does he feel the itch? I mean, there are 5 enemies in front of him. His hands are full with guns and swords or whatever else, both of his hands. His mind is busy totally trying to make sure that he doesn't miss even a single move, because one move missing means it's a question for life and death for him. He's dead. And he feels the itch. Will he drop the guns, drop the swords, and first go and, pacify the itch? Okay, did he realize there was the itch? He must have realized, probably, for all you know. It's a body, right? He's not paralyzed. For a flicker of a second, he must have realized, oh yes, I'm feeling the itch, and then he's out. And he ignored it. And he didn't give it much importance. Why? Because his consciousness is too busy with too many other things. Because it's a question of life and death for him. Now imagine this soldier loses a hand, loses a leg, but they win the war. Is he happy or is he sad? Sad. Just imagine. Somewhere were to think that I get pricked by a thorn and I can't enjoy the best of the things in life, and I'm sad, and my life is totally done for. And here this man has lost his arm and a leg, and he's still rejoicing, and he feels on top of the world. Look at most of the kings of the older times. I mean, they had so many scars on their not only face, entire body. Some had lost their eyes, some had lost what not all. And still, they were ready for the next war, next battle. And they took pride in the position they were in. They're so proud of it all. So how does it work? I mean, the body is looking so bad. It means that the body is not life. The body does not control your life. Being pricked was never the real reason of your misery. It was feeling being pricked, giving it utmost importance. So all of this is inside me, not outside there. And what we are trying to do all the time is we look ourselves in the mirror and we see the face there. It's got maybe some blot. And what we try to do is we try to clean it up. Where are you trying to clean it? You're trying to clean the mirror. Why? Because that's what you see. So what we see in the mirror is the body. So what are we trying to do is make the body stronger. So there's more life. Get the body right. So I can make more sense out of things because I can feel the pleasures. Why? Because senses are the things which will give me the pleasure. That's what I am, again, conditioned to think, because my knowledge flows through the senses. So all my happiness also will be derived by pacifying the senses. This is called Indriya Sukh. Another delusion. We are hopping from our delusions to delusions to delusions. The first delusion, body is me. The second delusion, my circumstances will make a difference to me. All the bondages are outside. I'm unhappy because of the external world or the body, state of body. The third delusion, my knowledge flows through the senses. The fourth delusion, all happiness will be derived through the senses. Okay, for you to feel happy, you need good food, right? You need to be in a comfortable place, right? The weather should be right? There should be soft music. Oh, mild, nice, sweet words around me. Feels good. Little fragrance. Feels so nice. We need all of this, isn't it? Healthy body, don't we? These each are the delusions that we live under. So what is a fact? How does it work? And what are the facts? What is the right thing to do? Of course, you'll have to wait for that to understand that, because that's the topic of the last lecture. We are not handling it right now. But what we really need to understand is that, okay, are these the only delusions that we are talking about, or there are more? And how is this delusion affecting me actually? So that's the core now. Okay, so be it. I am under delusion. I mean, if I am under delusion that I am a happy soul, do I need to be happy? So if everything is in here, I mean, what's wrong with it? If a child feels that he or she is the most beautiful child in the world, whether he is or not, why is it wrong? So I don't think that delusions are always wrong. I think I'm very intelligent. Why is it wrong? So here, now, scientifically, try to understand why this delusion is not good for me. This delusion makes you believe. When I'm saying makes you believe, whose delusion is it? It's not imposed by somebody else. It's self-created. So this delusion that I've created myself makes me believe that things which are not permanent are permanent. And things which are permanent are not permanent. Like, for example, we feel that the world around us is very stable. It will always be like this. When you buy a house, okay, you buy a house. Huh? You're not renting a house, you're buying the house. The title is clear. You're occupying it also. What is the assumption? Okay, now this is my permanent address. Isn't it? Permanent address. What is a permanent address? This is my delusion that now I am going to stay here forever. So this is a wrong thing to do, isn't it? Similarly, if you were to look at you're scared your entire life of dying. Whereas what is the fact? The soul is permanent. It never dies. I am permanent. But I am scared of dying every moment of my life. So look at the irony, both sides on. Everything that is not permanent, I feel is permanent. All relationships, all wealth, the state of your body, the health, everything we feel around us is permanent, whereas all of it is utterly momentary. And here, all of it that is permanent, which is my existence, my gyan, my consciousness, my blissful nature, and we feel it is under threat every moment. So there are three primary areas where I go wrong. And it will, each of these need a lot of elaborate understanding. Let's do that maybe because we are up on time almost in the probably next lecture. We are going to understand the primary three areas where I go wrong. And it will, in itself, try to cover most of the aspects where we are going wrong. That's one. And second, what we need to deal with is that because of this delusion, there are two types of delusion, darshan moha and charitra moha. So in these two types of delusion, what really goes wrong with me is because of the perception going wrong, it gives rise to the four kashai. The feeling of anger, the feeling of pride, the feeling of greed, the feeling of deceit. And why would that happen is because of the delusion. There's no anger in the world if there's no delusion. And that again, we will try to understand how your faith and your conduct are impacted by each other. So these are some few more important points which will, help us understand how this topic should evolve. But with this, because we are up on time right now, we will conclude this lecture. And I'm open for question and answers right now. And we will deal with the topic further in the upcoming lecture.
Thank you so much, Swanubhuti Didi, for beautiful explanation and overview to this topic. As Didi discussed, that further about the attributes and its subparts we will discuss in the coming lecture. But I think these examples to know the overview of Mithyatva delusion is very important, because since our childhood, when we were in early pathshalas of kindergarten, I think Mithyatva has always been portrayed as the very fierce character. And I think that's the main terminology we should understand, that who are we and why are we feel like we are tied with the knot and with the rope. As said, who swatantra nishchal nishkam, gyata drashta atam ram. So that swatantrata, that independence is what we should aware of. What is soul? What is the nature of the soul, and how it is different from uh, the other vikari bhav. So yeah, now the session is open for question answers. If you have any questions related to in and around the topic, you are feel free to ask. Anyone or any opinion which you want to share, please feel free. Anyone? Okay, okay. So since we don't have any question, so I just have one phrase, and I want Swanubhuti Didi to throw some light on the phrase. So the phrase is आत्म में अपनापन करके मिथ्यात्म को दूर भगाया. So can you please explain to the audience about in our daily routine, daily life, how we can practice just removing mithyatva and converting it to samyaktva, which is the vipreet. So you can just explain this phrase and help us with the answer.
Harsha makes it sound so simple. Just explain this phase and we will be done with it.
No.
And the entire Jinvani, entire Dwadashang, and all the knowledge which you can see in the scriptures is all directed towards how and what to do to get rid of mithyatva and understand yourself. So atam mein apnapan karke, which means that getting rid of the delusion that you are not what you are, which means all the non-self is what we feel is the self, and that is where we are totally wrong. So the first step to understand that is understanding your place. I'll give a quick example again to answer this particular question, because examples in themselves carry a lot of meaning. Explanation words probably fall short of it a lot of times. If we are watching, we wear these VR headsets, and in immersive reality, the virtual reality, you have immersive experiences these days. So you are in a game there, and you are in a situation, and you're being chased by a lot of people, and you can't breathe, and your blood pressure is going high, and you're scared, and you feel helpless, and they're trying to hold you, bind you, what not all. If somebody were to ask me, how do I get rid of all my miseries? So I would say, realize all that what is happening in the virtual world. It's reality. The word reality is being used. It's not the reality. It's immersive, but it is virtual. So the moment you realize that it is virtual, which means it does not exist actually, the moment you realize that your immersiveness ceases and you are out of it all. So similarly, all that we live in, it is a reality, but it is outside reality. It's not the fact inside me. Am I bound to feel all the emotions being shown to me in that VR headset? Am I bound to feel all the emotions? I'm not bound to feel the emotions. I can still be aware of my own independent, safe existence and realize that the moment I stop getting immersed, I'm free of it. So similarly here also, the moment we stop immersing ourselves in our situation, circumstances, body, realizing your own existence as being separate from this, you can still be in your safe haven, safe, peaceful zone, and understand this is all outside you. Again, since we have another minute, one quick example to take you to this. If you have ever gone on a roller coaster, which is like which goes totally upside down, there are two ways of experiencing it. When you're in the roller coaster and you're scared of height, you're scared of being upside down, you're scared of everything which is going ahead there, then you keep getting the goosebumps, and you get stiff inside, and you don't know, and you shriek and shout. There's another way of going through it, because you know how it works. You are in control. This is how it is going to feel, a little up, little down. Everything will go upside down, but that's okay. You detach yourself from the anxiety. You be in control, be in yourself, understand nothing is going to happen to me. I am very safe in the seat I am. I will come out safe out of this. It's totally fine. And if you maintain your peace and still go in the roller coaster in a separate zone, zone out from your circumstances, zone in on your own independent being, that is where you enjoy the ride. It does not make a difference of whatever ups and downs it may have, or it may go all the way around. Similarly, in life, if you zone out from your circumstances, zone in on your own self, and then however ups and downs may come in your lives, however topsy-turvy the world will look like, but because you are in control, you will still enjoy where you are. So this is how I would like to sum it up.
Thank you so much, Dee, for explanation and examples. So, any further questions from the audience?
Thank you so much. Very
Yeah.
nice explanation for the roller coaster example. You can just feel out where you are, you can be different in a different zone in different circumstances. Thank you so much, Swanubhuti.
Sure, most welcome.
Okay. So before we proceed for the Jinwani Stuti, let me shortly brief you all with the access points. So as mentioned that you have the accessibility to all the course structure, to all the lectures and all the presentations which are there on the portal. So I have summarized in the 4 pointers. Visit the Jeev website. Under the resources section, you can navigate the topic you want to explore. Then when you click on the topic, you will receive a link to access the course, and the dashboard is right screenshotted in front of you. You can view your courses on your dashboard and select the course you wish to access, and that will lead you to accessibility to all the quizzes, puzzles, and Gurudev Shri snippets and everything. URL is already mentioned here. Email address is support@jeev.net.in. Social media handles are right there. And if you want more easiness in your lectures schedule, you can just subscribe to our YouTube channel. In a way, it would be you can get regularly direct updates about when the lecture recording is there, when it is uploaded, when the new lecture recording is being about to upload. So you can get the status from the YouTube as well. And feel free to connect for any queries. Jinwani Stuti. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, इसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है. 9 times नमोकार मंत्र.